In a small village nestled in the heart of ancient India, there lived a young woman named Kisa Gotami. She was known for her radiant beauty and her kind heart, but she was also known for the deep sorrow that clouded her life. One fateful day, her only child, a beloved son, fell grievously ill. Kisa Gotami, filled with fear and despair, did everything in her power to save him. She sought the help of every healer, prayed to the gods, and performed countless rituals. Yet, despite her tireless efforts, her son's condition only worsened. In the end, he drew his last breath in her arms, leaving Kisa Gotami utterly heartbroken. She could not accept the fact that her beloved son was gone forever. Clinging to his lifeless body, she roamed the village, asking anyone she met if they could bring her child back to life. It was the talk of the village, and people tried to console her, explaining that death was a natural part of life, and there was nothing anyone could do. One day, Kisa Gotami heard about the Buddha, a wise and compassionate teacher who was believed to possess great wisdom. With a glimmer of hope, she decided to seek his guidance. She approached the Buddha and, through her tears, begged, "Please, revered one, can you bring my son back to life?" The Buddha looked at Kisa Gotami with a kind and understanding gaze. He replied, "I will help you, but first, I need you to do something for me. Bring me a handful of mustard seeds from a house where no one has ever experienced the pain of loss." Overwhelmed with hope, Kisa Gotami immediately set out on her quest. She went from house to house, knocking on doors, asking for mustard seeds. People were willing to help, but as she inquired about the mustard seeds, they would share their stories of loss and grief. Parents who had lost children, spouses who had lost each other, and friends who had lost loved ones. No house was free from the pain of loss, and no one had the mustard seeds the Buddha had requested. Slowly, as she moved from house to house, Kisa Gotami began to realize the universal nature of suffering. Every family had experienced loss, just as she had. With this newfound understanding, she returned to the Buddha, empty-handed but transformed. She fell at his feet and confessed, "I could not find the mustard seeds you asked for, but I have learned a valuable lesson. The pain of loss is a part of the human condition. My grief is no different from the grief of others." The Buddha smiled and said, "You have understood the truth. Now, let go of your attachment to your son. Understand that death is an inevitable part of life, and it is the suffering we add to it that we must overcome." Kisa Gotami, having embraced the Buddha's wisdom, became one of his most devoted followers. She dedicated her life to spreading his teachings and found solace in her newfound understanding of suffering and impermanence. Through this simple lesson, she learned to let go of her attachment, and in doing so, found the freedom to live with peace and acceptance in her heart.